Wind howls across the lonely sand dunes of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. It is early morning on December 17th, 1903. The sky is gray, the air is freezing, and the Atlantic Ocean crashes in the distance. There are no crowds, no reporters, no cheering spectators. Only a handful of witnesses stand on the cold sand, watching two brothers prepare a strange wooden machine that looks more like a giant box kite than the future of transportation. But in just a few moments, the world will change forever. The men responsible for this moment are Wilbur and Orville Wright, bicycle makers from Dayton, Ohio. They are not wealthy, not famous, and not formally trained engineers. Yet they have spent the past 4 years obsessively studying one problem that has defeated inventors for centuries: how to achieve controlled, powered human flight. Many had tried before them. Balloons had drifted. But no one had successfully built a machine that could take off under its own power, stay in the air under control, and land safely. The Wright brothers believed the secret wasn't just power, it was control. They began by studying birds. They noticed how birds tilted their wings to balance and turn. This observation led them to one of their greatest breakthroughs, a system called wing warping, which allowed the pilot to twist the wings slightly to maintain balance in the air. Combined with a movable rudder and elevator, this gave them control over all 3 axes of motion: roll, pitch, and yaw, the same principles used in modern airplanes today. But control alone wasn't enough. They needed lift and power. To understand how wings worked, they built their own wind tunnel in their bicycle shop and tested more than 200 different wing designs. This careful experimentation gave them more accurate data than any other aviation researcher at the time. By 1903, they were ready to combine everything they had learned into a powered aircraft, the Wright Flyer. The Flyer was a fragile-looking machine made of spruce wood, muslin fabric, and wire bracing. Its wings stretched about 40 feet across. Lying flat on the lower wing, the pilot would operate a complex system of levers and cables to control the aircraft. There was no cockpit, no seat, and no safety harness. Because no engine existed that was light enough for flight, the brothers designed and built their own. With the help of their mechanic, Charlie Taylor, they created a 12-horsepower gasoline engine that weighed just 180 pounds. The engine drove 2 wooden propellers through a bicycle-style chain system, another example of how their bike-making experience shaped aviation history. Now, everything depended on this moment. A small group of local men from the U.S. Life-Saving Service had come to help. The Flyer was placed on a 60-foot wooden launch rail to help it gain speed over the sand. The strong headwind that morning, though bitterly cold, would actually help lift the aircraft. Earlier attempts had ended in minor crashes, and repairs had taken days. A coin toss had determined who would try first earlier that week, but after a failed takeoff by Wilbur, it was now Orville Wright's turn. Orville lies on the wing, gripping the controls. Wilbur stands beside the machine, holding one wingtip steady against the wind. The engine sputters, then roars to life. The propellers blur into motion. At 10:35 a.m., the restraining wire is released. The Flyer bumps and rattles down the rail. Wilbur runs alongside, steadying the wing for a few seconds before letting go. The machine lifts unevenly, wobbling in the air. Orville struggles with the controls, overcorrecting as the Flyer rises and dips. Then, suddenly, it is flying. For 12 seconds, the Wright Flyer remains airborne, traveling 120 feet before settling back onto the sand. It is not smooth, it is not graceful, but it is powered, controlled, and sustained. Humanity has just achieved its first true airplane flight. The men shake hands, excited but focused. They know this is only the beginning. 3 more flights follow that morning. Each one improves as they learn how the Flyer responds. On the 4th flight, Wilbur Wright takes the controls. The Flyer climbs higher and travels farther than before. It remains in the air for 59 seconds, covering 852 feet, nearly the length of 3 football fields. It is the longest and most impressive flight of the day. Then, just minutes later, a powerful gust of wind catches the parked aircraft and flips it over, smashing it into the sand. The Wright Flyer is badly damaged and will never fly again. But it doesn't matter. In less than 1 minute of total flight time that day, the Wright brothers proved that powered, controlled flight was possible. The age of aviation had begun. News of their achievement did not immediately shock the world. Many newspapers ignored the story. Some scientists were skeptical. But the brothers continued refining their designs in the years that followed. By 1905, they had built an aircraft capable of flying for over half an hour. By 1908, they were demonstrating their airplanes to crowds in Europe and America. Within a decade, airplanes would be used in war. Within a few decades, they would carry passengers across continents. And within 66 years, humans would walk on the moon, a journey that began with understanding how to fly through Earth's air. All of it traces back to that freezing morning in 1903. 2 quiet brothers from Ohio, a wooden machine, and 12 seconds in the sky that changed the course of human history forever.